Ilizwi Moja Africa family. Welcome to episode 14 of our podcast. We are continuing our series on trailblazing youth doing amazing things in Africa. So to recap, we had an enlightening discussion with Ndea Ada, a Senegalese journalist, as well as JD Orango, a social justice advocate on African elections and the implications they have on the youth. So today we're getting to know our guest, Alkali Musa, who is a trailblazing youth from Nigeria. We'll dive into his journey of becoming an agripreneur and later a world record holder of the world's tallest packaged food tower. But before we jump into it, we would appreciate it if you follow us on Twitter at Ilizwi Moja or on Facebook at Ilizwi Moja and check out our TikTok at Ilizwi Moja Africa. Also, don't forget to like our videos and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So I'm your host for today, Slindile Mthembu, an academic enthusiast, joined by my co-host, Herere Yanga, a youth mentor, author, and leadership coach at Shuja Rising Consulting from Kenya. And Kafiso is also joining us today as our social media volunteer at Ilizwi Moja Africa. So our guest, Akali, is one of a kind trailblazer who's truly affecting the lives of Africans positively. Let's just get into more about Akali. So Akali has over 8 years of experience as a founder and CEO of Alkali Agricultural Access Initiative. He has built resiliency and developed the organization to drive for the goals and vision of the organization. So he has empowered over 1,500 women and youth in agribusiness and generated access to quality inputs for local farmers. So the organization has helped provide nutritional meals to over 5,000 school kids in Gombe State, Nigeria, to improve their nutritional status. Akali then started the Akali Integrated Farm to help produce more food for increased nutrition. In the year 2022, he was selected for the prestigious Mandela Washington Fellowship for Leadership in Civic Engagement. That same year, he won the Exchange Reciprocal Grant, $5,000, to train farmers in Nigeria in collaboration with Professor Amrit Bars from the University of Georgia, USA. Then in 2023, he was selected as a Nigerian delegate for the African Civic Engagement Summit. The following year, he got approval by the Guinness World Record to set a new record for the title Tallest Packaged Food Tower to beat the previous record set by Heights Africa and Alphaton both in Dubai. Wow. So Akali, we are so privileged to have you join us in this discussion. You're doing such amazing things. So we're going to get started with the interview, right? So first question, Akali. Where did your passion for agriculture stem from, and how has that passion inspired your agripreneur venture as a founder and CEO of Alkali Agricultural Access Initiative?
Thank you so much for such a wonderful question and for inviting me to speak today. As a way of introduction, I want to say many years ago, when I found myself in a crisis area here in Nigeria. So one fateful night, I just woke up and I had the sound of bomb blast, gunshots, and I told myself, what is actually happening? So the following morning, I just went out, go around to different refugee camps, and I began to see the living condition of people around. And one of the most catching story, which I don't have the permission to share the woman's name, was when I got to a particular IDP camp and I saw a woman who was crying, holding her daughter, and her daughter was equally crying. And the daughter was asking her mom that, why will you be the one to go and do such kind of a business just to get us food? Please, I'm 21. Allow me to go and do that. And when I say that, I was like, oh my God, what is going on? All this thing is happening because people are hungry. And at that point in time, I had a lot of thoughts on my head. From just the top of my head, I could think of security, I could think of nutrition, I could think of health. But when I critically look into the whole situation, I discovered that whatsoever happens, people get into hunger first. And that is how I begin to think, and I give birth to Alkali Agricultural Access Initiative. And having
Wow.
become the CEO of the organization, I've passed through a lot of things, which some are so exciting, some are so challenging. But I discovered that the most important thing is not just the challenges, but it's the goal. Where am I headed? What are we trying to drive out of this? Who is crying out there? What can we do to help such people who are crying? Why are they crying? It doesn't matter what we have now. It doesn't matter who we are now. It doesn't matter who supports us or who doesn't support us. It's not all about what we have or what we don't have. All that matters is trying to make everyone feel at home, trying to make an impact in our little corner of the world. And that is how we came up with Alkali Agricultural Access Initiative.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I like that you mentioned, like, there's a lot of compassion for others, right? Like you mentioned um, quite a lot on the motivation by seeing somebody really burdened and feeling compassion to that individual. I think that's absolutely amazing. Um, and that actually just inspired you to be able to form, your initiative. I like that. That's great. That's great. And I think also just getting to the second question on, just on your prestigious fellowship that you were part of, the Mandela Washington Fellowship. You're an alumni, and that allowed you to travel to the US, to gain that practical and theoretical experience in your field of interest. So how does that experience advance your agripreneur journey? Maybe just you can give us a few points on that.
So I must say at this point that when I got to attend the fellowship, when every other person was seeing something different, I was actually seeing different thing. When I was going, I thought I'm someone doing something. That is why I was selected. When I was going, I thought, yeah, I'm a founder, I'm a CEO, so of course I should brag, I should say this. But on getting there, meeting these other fellows, hearing about their bios, hearing about what they've been doing, at some point I paused and I asked myself, are you really doing what you are doing? Look at all these young, passionate Africans. This one coming with such a story. This one have solved this one have done that, this one have gone this. So one of the most interesting experience was the challenge for me. I just knew I need to step up everything that I was doing, not just to compete, not just to put my name on, not just to be number one, but simply because I equally want to be on the same level with every other person. I had the opportunity to discuss with one of the fellow who told me amazing things he has been doing. And I have to relate back to myself that what actually are you doing? Who do you think you can tell your story and people will be wow? And so when I came back, there was no sleep for me. I have to come up with series of projects. I remember the school feeding program, the STEM hire for young girls, the solving with agriculture, the women in agribusiness, a lot of projects within this period of time that I came back. I have to bring all this on board to ensure that I equally am giving back in my own corner of the world. Now, apart from my African fellows, I could equally talk about seasoned professors, experts who we met back in the US who are doing amazing things in our field of interest, telling us a lot about what they've experienced. And one of these person that I met is Professor Anna Seid from the School of Social Work. She inspires me. I just love her so much because of what she is doing in the field of farmers' mental health. And currently, myself and her are running a research on farmer stress here in Nigeria. And hopefully, we are coming up with a model where we can next year, hopefully, bring an intervention to my community. So I must say that MWF is actually a game changer to me. It has exposed me a lot. It told me that I haven't done anything, even though I've done something, but at the same time, I can be able to do more, and I have the capacity to do more. I don't just have to think of what the challenge will be, but I could only look at what the world needs and how I can use my own experience, how I could use my own power and my energy to actually solve all these problems, to bring a sustainable change. And when we talk about our coordinators, people who coordinated us during the fellowship, talking about what leadership is, talking about servant leadership, talking about adaptive leadership, talking about how I can be a leader and a servant at the same time, talking about how I can advocate for social justice, talking about how I can collaborate, how I can partner with other people who has what they have so we can achieve maybe um, a combined benefit, a win-win benefit. MWF is actually a game changer in my work. And having said that, I also have the capacity to link my workers, my volunteers to the university as well. I remember when I got the exchange reciprocal grant, I came down to my department where I work, and I have to link the college with University of Georgia to sign a memorandum of understanding where we can receive teachings, coaching, and mentorships and things alike. So it doesn't just have to be me alone who gain the experience. Others can equally gain the experience. So we can have similar and one direction. So I truly remain happy for meeting these fellows. I truly remain happy for having this life-changing experience. I truly remain happy for meeting those experts. And because of that, I'm so open to reach out to any other person who feels that I have something they would love to hear from me or they want to learn from me. I'm open to share my experience, to equally teach others, so we all can have a strong hands. We all can come together in order to bring transformational and sustainable changes in our community.
Mm, mm, mm. I love that. I like that you highlighted that the experience is not something that's one way, right? Like you gain that experience, you gain that knowledge in order to equip others, in order to build a sustainable community, as you've emphasized. And I love that kind of way of looking at things, and that, you're not just taking from the experience saying that, well, I have grown, I have impacted, I have gained from this, but more of, in as much as I've gained from this, I know I can equip others. And that is super important. I like that. So you are a world record holder. So take us through your journey of finally claiming that title as the world record holder of the world's tallest packaged food tower.
All right. So for me, the idea of Guinness World Record came the very day I started this organization. But the main challenge was which title to go for. And I was so careful about selection of the title because I don't want in any way that the title I'm going for will reflect self-glory. Rather, it should be a way of sending message to the world. Now, when I discover Guinness World Record has a way of advertising products and skills and talent globally, I felt the fight against hunger and malnutrition is something we need to actually notify the whole world. So last year, I thought of going for the title Tallest Package Food Tower, which has an human angle. I remember this question I was asked by Channels TV um, after the attempt. So they said, Now you broke a record. Then what? That was the question I was asked. And I really want to answer it here again. So when I started fighting against hunger and malnutrition, and I see the number of children who are malnourished, and I see the number of older people who are hungry, and I see communities upon communities upon communities of hungry people growing up day by day. I want to use my country as an example, more especially the region where I am currently. There are a lot of people living below the poverty line. So to secure the 4 square meal is really a problem. And in order to do this, I discovered that it's not a one-man job. We need to have like-minded people. We need to have government. We need to have private sectors. We need to have philanthropies coming together, joining hands in order to fight this. And how do we bring everyone together? Is by raising awareness to the whole world that something is actually happening and we need to do something about it. And that is why I thought of world record. So because I really have it in mind that I really wanted to do it, I really want to go for it. I really wanted to raise this awareness. And then I applied to Guinness World Record that I want to break this record. And I'm doing this. Now, if Guinness World Record gives you permission, they will need a detailed description of why, what, and how. So in the why, you have to explain why you're going for this. That way they could be able to see reason in it and give you approval. So when I got the approval, we set up everything, and it has to do with cooking nutritious food, having all the 6 classes of food included in the meal, bringing health professionals, nutritionists, specialists who will come and inspect the food, the cooking process, the environment to ensure that it's up to standard and is consumable. And after you're done cooking, you're going to package it in a smaller containers, and you begin to stack it until it goes to a certain height. So hence Africa is a company, is a food product producing company in collaboration with Al Futan and Al Majid, both in Dubai, UAE. They set the first Guinness World Record by stacking a food up to 3.37 meters height. And then they did that awareness of what product they have, how people should patronize them. And when I see that, I said, oh yeah, this is a title I should go for. I can equally raise this awareness, get this food, and then raise it up. But then after raising it up, what happens is for us to distribute this food to certain class of people. And when I look at the number of children in hunger reports, and then a lot of reports coming from Save the Children, United Nations, talking about how many millions of children in Nigeria who are malnourished. And I said, let me just target children, school children. And we went and selected 12 primary schools amounting to over 3,000 school children. And I begin to say, how can only me be able to feed these 3,000 children? When I look at it, it was really a tedious thing. But I wasn't looking at the resource I was going to spend. Rather, I was looking at what outcome can we generate out of what we're doing, especially tailoring down to social impact. So we went ahead, set everything up. On our first attempt, it failed. Actually, the kind of containers we used was not so strong enough, and because according to standard and policies of Guinness World Record, uh, we have to do this in an open place, and the sun was so intense that the containers became so flaccid and it began to collapse, so we couldn't achieve our aim. And 4 weeks after we brace up, we got to the market, look for very good containers. We came back, we had all the students, and finally we got it right. We stacked these containers up to 3.5 meters, beating the previous record of 3.37 meters. And at the end of the day, we distributed each of these container containing nutritious food to over 3,700 school children. And we had a lot of organizations, they came to witness. We spoke to them. We have a lot of media outlets. We told them the aim. We are fighting hunger. We are saying no to hunger. We all need to come together. We all need to fight this. It doesn't matter what we have, even if it is just little, but let there be a nutritious food in our community. When our children have a quality food and nutritious food, then they can be bright, they can be so healthy, they can think well, and they will have the capacity to succeed as against when they don't have it. So that is the idea behind Guinness World Record, to raise this awareness, to inform the world that there is a lot of hunger in our communities and we need to fight it. And because our organization is fighting against hunger and malnutrition, that is why we are going for this title, which actually directly speaks to what we are doing in our organization. And that is what we actually did.
I like that you found that link between, looking at the title, which title do I want to actually pursue, and understanding what is your mission or your values of your organization, and linking that to the title that you're pursuing. So I found that amazing. And the research that comes into it, what containers, as you said, what containers should I use? You know, let's look into the aspects of health, what particular individuals will be there to ensure that the food that we give is good, it's good quality. It's really nice. I love how you're able to like navigate all these particular components to actually make it work, to actually then, be a record holder. So that's fantastic. That's really is. It's such a great achievement as well because you knew that there was so much work that goes into it, and you came out of there like, winning because, a lot of children got fed. Yeah, and that's super important. So, yeah, Akali, we have our bonus question before we end this very, very enlightening discussion. What parting words do you have for individuals who perhaps are in your field of interest but may feel discouraged? So, what are the kind of words or encouragement that you want to give to, yeah, to the individuals?
This is a great question. I must say, all of us, every individual is so unique in our
Mm,
own ways. We might be different. We might come from different environment. We might be facing different kind of challenges. At some point, we discover that each and every one has a unique value. When we see a problem, it means there is always a solution. And every individual who doesn't even try will not understand who he or she is. So I must say, let's open ourselves to trials. Let's try. If you sleep and you have a dream and then you think you are capable of doing something, bring it to reality. We shouldn't be just thinkers alone. Let's also be doers. It doesn't
mm,
matter how we start, but all that matters is the impact we generate. When I started the Alkali Foundation, just the six of us had meeting. We spent nothing more than 200 naira just for our meeting to have a discussion. This is what we want to do. But today,
oh,
our organization is capable of feeding over 5,000 school children. So let's try, let's do it, let's give it a trials. We shouldn't doubt ourselves. We should believe in ourselves. And when we do that, of course, we are going to get it right.
mm. Oh, I love that. That's so important. I like that. I like those parting words. And wow, Akali, this has been such an amazing interview slash discussion. I'm super grateful for just encouraging so many people that are probably in your field of interest and are, inspired by this interview. So thank you so much. And as we close, we're going to get into a fun segment. I'm going to take it over to Harry to give us the fun segments and we'll close off.
All right, thank you so much, Lee. Thank you, Alkali. I must say that your story is just amazing, like amazing on so many levels. I don't even know where to begin with it. But I have been tasked to do the fun segment. So today, since you are a Guinness World Book record breaker holder, we want to do some fun Guinness World Book record facts. So I have 3 facts that you might be curious to know. So the first fun fact is that Aishrita Furman is a Guinness World Record breaker. He currently holds nearly 200 records, including the record for holding the most Guinness World Book records. Fun fact. So I'm just like I can't even start to imagine how many, like the kind of things that he broke the record for. The second fun fact is that apparently annually around 50,000 people apply to the Guinness World Book of Records in the hope that their achievement will make it into print. But only around 1,000 actually do make the cut. So can you imagine, Alkali, you are one of the 1,000 out of 50,000 in the world. As in, like, your achievements, give yourself a pat on the back, you know?
Yeah.
And then even better, you did it for a really amazing cause. You're raising awareness about food security. So that's like kudos to you, hats off. Then the last fun fact is that Psy, you remember Psy, the South Korean singer, his Gangnam Style? Apparently it became the first video of any kind to receive 1 billion views online, with 1,382,639 views on YouTube as of 21st December 2012. So he broke the world record for number of views on a YouTube video. So those are a few interesting fun facts from the Guinness World Book of Records. So I want to close by saying that this discussion has been awesome. It has been inspiring. It has been insightful. We have been on the edge of our seats. We're just hanging on to every word you've had to say. Thank you so much, Alkali, for just sharing your journey and just telling us, just reminding us that we are the change in our countries and we can start small, but we need to start somewhere with the resources that we have. So thank you so much for that reminder. And we hope you, our audience, enjoyed this discussion. So do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel, as well as click on the notification bell so that you can stay on top of our new episodes once we release them. So be on the lookout for our next episode as we continue our discussion with the trailblazing young leaders. Bye for now. See you.